Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for looking at my channel. My name's Nick. I'm from Swansea. I'm just gonna make some videos about some funny stories from the past, and I call them Nostalgic Nick Log 001, 21st of August 2020. And one of my stories is a shout out to one of the guys from football, absolute legend, proper football boy, you know, from the old days. No one messed him. Nicky Simmons, an absolute legend. I wouldn't have met him in what's the chances any other time, but I met him through football, and he was like the big brother I never had, which I do have brothers, but he took me under his wing, like my mate Gareth said, and he was absolutely brilliant. And one of the stories was, we've been to football, I can't remember what game it was, but we were in the pub afterwards as normal, getting pissed. And we were in one of the pubs, all the boys watching the Man United Sunderland game, and Sunderland equalised against Man United, and I was just going yay, laughing and celebrating as a joke. And one of the football guys, who I don't really know, his name was George, a massive motherfucker, 6'6", skinhead. I think he'd just come out of prison for robbing a TV or smashing some window in. And anyway, he didn't like it, obviously. And all of a sudden, as I'm laughing, I see this guy staring at me, 6'6", massive thing, with a stool in his hand. And he launches it towards me, full on. So I think, fuck, I gotta get away from this bastard. So I fucking just leg it towards him as fast as I can to get out of the place. And I sort of cover my arms, and this stool just goes smashing through my head. As I run past him, the bastard has managed to pick up another stool. And as I've gone past him, I just see, I put my hand over my head, and I feel this smash over my head. And the top of the stool where you sit on smashed against my back. I had a massive bruise, but I remember as I was going past, sort of looking and covering my head, and all this wood just smashing over my arms. Luckily, I protected myself pretty well, and fuck me, I managed to get out of there, but shit, it was mad, man. The bruise in my back was mental. He had properly smashed it right over me, like, and if I hadn't have blocked myself, would have knocked me out, but what an absolute cunt. But anyway, Nicky Simmons, I told him, I think not long after, a few days after, when we were at the next Swans game, and he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll sort it out. And anyway, mad as fuck. I think that day, this George comes in to the pub, same pub we were in, which was probably expected anyway. And Nicky Simmons just goes up to him and says something, but anyway, this George comes and invites him to sit down by me, and he comes and sits down, and Nicky's just there, and he goes, oh, do you remember Nicky? Pointing to me. And this George is sort of looking at me, and he goes to shake my hand, and I just don't put my hand out, don't extend my hand to shake his, and he's sort of looking at me, looking at Nicky, like really confused. And Nicky Simmons goes, yeah, you remember Nicky, yeah, you smashed 2 stools over his head last week. And this George was like fucking, the look in his face was white, and he just fucking didn't know what to say, and he just looked at me, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, mate, And sort of Nicky said to him, you know, fucking don't be doing that, you know, I'm a good lad, I'm a young lad, so do you know what I mean? He was a fucking classic guy, always looked after me, and it was just a fucking bit of a mad story how, like, this George, you know, he's a big fucker, but he still knew not to fuck with Nicky Simmons, you know, who's a fucking one of the old boys, like. But it was quite sad then, just speaking of Nicky Simmons, I saw him, oh, I don't know, about 10 years ago, before he went in the military, and his missus, who he'd been with 10 years, had left him, and he was in pieces, really upset, crying his eyes out, saying, I just don't know what to do, and it was such a sad thing. But then, about a year ago, I saw him in town, and he was with his girl, and he was rushing to some appointment, and they were moving to Spain to start a business, so that's a good thing. But yeah, anyway, that was a bit of a mad story about you got to be careful who you fucking celebrate in front of, because there's some fucking nutters out there who will crack a few stools over your head for fucking, you know, celebrating a goal against Man United. But anyway, yeah, that was a mad story. My mate Gareth, he knows all these, so hopefully he's gonna chip in on a few stories. But yeah, so that's my first story from Nostalgic Nick, and thank you. I'll see you very soon.